Welcome to Up Close and Personal, heard uh, heard direct streaming on malcolmpresents.com. And today our guest is Nels Van Patten. And actually I know Nels from his name.
Mhm.
We had started to do the other a show that was uh, because of technical difficulties. And Nels's wife just walked in, who
Yeah,
actually we had.
yeah. I want to say hello to Malcolm and my wife Nancy, as you saw.
Yeah, we just had Nancy's going to be on the show before you. Anyway, Nels, as I was telling the story, and I told Nancy in our interview, uh, first television show I watched when I was a kid was my favorite was I Remember Mama.
Mhm.
And I remember Mama had a person there that played Nils. And it so happens that the guy who played Nils was your dad, Dick
That's
Van Patten.
that's
So
correct.
I knew you before you were born.
That's amazing. Most of the time, people are trying not to age themselves, but you
Oh,
just incriminate
no,
yourself.
I have to age myself. I have my white hair, my and
I'm with you. I'm in the same category. So we're, we're doing okay though.
yeah.
But thank you.
I have well, the one thing good about the two presidents being or the two presidential candidates of being a certain age, when they have their memory lapses, I can relate to them because
But
all of a sudden, like at the beginning of the show, I stopped and I couldn't think of the word.
I think you're doing okay. I think
That
you're doing better than they are.
yeah, that just happens. But anyway, want to get to your background. You have a very interesting background from being I know you started out as a professional tennis player. I don't know how serious you were about that. I think you were in doubles mainly. Is
No,
that
I
correct?
was actually, yeah, I went to Pepperdine University and I played tennis there, college tennis. I tried to make it on the pro tour. I did win a couple of pro doubles tournaments. But I'm not Novak Djokovic or Rafael Nadal or Roger Federer, but I've been able to grind out a career as a coach and as a tennis coach. So that's been I've been fortunate enough to have been able to use my tennis and I'm still working, which is great.
Yeah, well, you're making money about off of what people play and other people play, and you play and you make money at it.
Yeah, well, all the things that I felt like I was lacking in, and I think that needed to be addressed, I make sure that the students, the pupils now, don't have those same difficulties. So I make sure that I just try to motivate them and inspire them to fulfill their dreams.
Yeah.
And I've been okay. I've
Do
been
you have any promising students?
let's see. No, not at the moment, no. At the
Uh,
moment, no. But I did have the number one tennis player in the world 20 years ago. Her name was Jennifer Capriati.
oh,
Number one
oh
tennis
yes,
world.
she started out very young, Jennifer, didn't
Yeah,
she?
and I coached her, and then I had a couple of guys who were in the top 20 in the world, and I had all the top juniors years ago. But I foregoed all that. I put that aside. I didn't want to travel anymore around the world because the people around you are getting sick and your parents, and you want to make sure that everyone's okay. So I just didn't want to leave home anymore. So I'm fortunate enough to have a tennis court in my backyard. So now instead of working with a lot of professionals, I'm working with just regular, you know, regular people, kids and adults. Again, I'm very happy doing what I'm doing.
Well, I when we did our first interview that didn't go on because of technical difficulties. You said you're ordinary, you're everyday person like Elton John.
Well, that's true.
You mentioned stories about him.
Well, yeah, I had because of my teaching and all the years I've been doing it, I've my experience and maybe living in Los Angeles, I had the access to maybe celebrities. So Elton John came into my life, and I taught Elton John for over a year tennis,
Hmm.
and he was a wonderful student, wonderful person, besides his talent. I mean, I credit his talent, but he treats everybody the same.
It
Didn't
does.
matter what he did. Yeah, Elton John was a real gem to work with.
Mhm.
The guy was a heck of a tennis player.
Mhm. Well, you must have met a lot of celebrities again through your dad, through your relatives, and through your wife.
They've come across. Everyone here has played in the backyard. I'm trying to think who I've come who's been here. Who's that? Oh, right. Currently, I'm teaching a guy, a comedian, a celebrity, John Lovitz,
John Lovett, yeah, funny
LOVITZ,
man.
Saturday Night Live. He comes over 5 times a week. I have another student, a rock star named Gavin Rosdale. He's the front man of a band called Bush. He was
Hmm.
formerly married to the rock star Gwen Stefani.
Oh,
Gavin Rosdale is a heck of a tennis player, and so is John Lovitz. They would have a battle if they were to play each other, but
well,
it'll never
I,
happen.
I started taking tennis. Number one, it became number one too expensive for me to take lessons.
It all depends upon your values, though. If it's really, something that's really important to you, I think you would have kept it up.
I would have kept it up if I was good enough. I don't have good reflexes. And tennis, you have to anticipate where the ball is going to go.
Well, I can make your reflexes better.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll have to talk about that.
It's going to cost you 9,000.
That's all? Okay.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
I can join the senior tour.
I'm just being a jerk.
No, I know. Uh, but did you, by the way, did you see the French Open?
I did. Yeah. Um,
Fantastic.
you saw it. Yeah, he's amazing, that kid.
Carlos Alcaraz.
Yes, you follow. Yes.
Yeah,
He's from Spain, as you know. He's
yeah.
20 years old. And
20, excuse me, 21.
is he 20? Well, so you know more than I know about
Yeah,
tennis. He's following Rafael Nadal's footsteps as a Spaniard. He
yeah.
grew up idolizing Rafael Nadal. There's actually a picture of Carlos Alcaraz and going to a tournament at the French Open or in Spain somewhere, and Rafael Nadal has his hand on like an 8-year-old Carlos Alcaraz's head,
Oh, wow.
and he's signing his autograph, and he's leaning down. It was so cute to see that. And now here he is. Alcaraz is now the next Rafael Nadal. He's going to
Yeah.
fill
A
his shoes.
lot of good young players. The one he defeated.
Who's that?
Uh, now I'm trying to remember the name.
Well, Alcaraz, and you have a guy from Italy right now. His last name is Sinner,
Yeah,
Sin.
that's the one I think he played, didn't he?
But he's not an Italian name, but he is 100%,
Right.
Italian, and he's
And
fantastic.
and then there's the American Ben Swider.
Yeah, Ben is Sheldon. Ben Sheldon.
Ben,
He's about 6'6", African American. He's our next superstar. But in my mind, he needs coaching. That guy needs coaching. That guy is the greatest athlete, and he's not coming up to his expectations. Ben Shelton, and so if he were to be coached right, right now dad's his coach. I know his father. He's a good guy. His father was also top 50 in the world, but I think he needs a new coach. So
well, I know that I have two boys who are 29 and 28, and they gave them tennis lessons. Uh, they're both good athletes, but there has to be the desire. There has to be the sort of like not so much the teaching. There has to be the inner drive because it takes a lot of practice.
it takes more than just practice. But I think what you said earlier, the inner drive, it has to come from within, and you work from inside out. I mean,
Yeah,
that's how. If you don't have it inside, if you 50%, if you're more physical, doesn't work.
yeah,
It has to be a champion. I've always believed you need to be 50% physical and 50% mental.
yeah.
Actually, I would say 55-45. I would put the mental part over the physical.
Well, I'm always amazed when I'm watching tennis where you know the top tennis player will like lose the first two sets, and then all of a sudden he becomes the next three sets he's on the top ones, or the next three sets are unbelievable.
Hmm. Yes, it can change on a dime, and that's
Yeah,
because of which makes tennis interesting than any other sport, racket sport, is because of the scoring system. See, in every other sport, racquetball, they count by one. Every point is 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 4-1.
right,
If you're down 10-1 in handball or racquetball, you're not winning. You have no shot. You have to win 9, 10 straight points in a row. Whereas in tennis, because of the scoring system, the 15, 30, the 40, deuce, add in, back to deuce, add out. At deuce, you have to win 2 consecutive points in a row. It makes
right.
it interesting. You could be losing. This is what's great about the sport. You could be losing 6-0, 5-0, 40 love, and still have a legitimate chance of coming back. I've seen it done.
Yeah, I've seen. Well,
I've seen it done. So that's what makes tennis fascinating to me, is the
well,
scoring.
I watch tennis and I see the conditioning of these athletes. Like, the Alcaraz was five sets. I mean, my shoulder gets tired. I look at them, go and hit the ball and that same repetitive motion for 4 or 5 hours. I go, oh my God.
Yeah, it's amazing concentration they have. I think, again, I think it's more mental. You exceed 5 hours, but I don't think it's the physical. I really believe it's the
The
mental
mental.
to stay in
And and
the game that
and,
long. Yeah,
and then the women, my favorite is Coco Gauff.
she's
She
terrific.
she's 20 years old.
Well, she's definitely the next American champion. I mean, she's fulfilling the way what's his name is fulfilling the Dow. Alcaraz is filling the
Yeah,
Dow shoes. A Spaniard. Here's another American. Serena Williams retires, the greatest of all time,
yeah,
and now she's been replaced by a young, great American, Coco Gauff. It's only fitting.
yeah. By the way, have you met the Williams sisters? Because they're locals here of California.
Yes, I've known them since they were little kids. She did a lot of Nike commercials, Serena and Venus, but I did tennis. I was a tennis tech for the Nike commercials, about three
Oh
or four
wow.
of her commercials, and one of her bank commercials. And she, I mean, again, there's no words to even be said. I mean, without a doubt, in my opinion, she's the greatest tennis player that ever lived. Female tennis player is Serena Williams.
Better than Billie Jean or
Well, yeah, it's a different era. I mean, back
different
then,
era.
he was playing with, a steel racket, small heads. It was just a different style of play. I mean, yes, a bit better than Billie Jean. And I love
And
Billie Jean. Billie Jean King has done more, not just for tennis, for women's sports
yeah, yeah,
in general, than anyone. And she's amazing. Billie Jean King is responsible for equality
yeah.
in women's sports.
Well, a question I have for you, and I always thought it's unfair if women want equal pay, for equal work. Why isn't the tournaments, the top tournaments, 3 out of 4 for women also? In other words, like the Wimbledon or French, and it's still 2 out of 3. Why shouldn't it be three out
I,
of five?
it's always been that way.
I know.
They are getting equal pay. Women, it's the only sport in the world, because of Billie Jean King, where a woman can make as much as a man, which I believe they deserve.
Right.
I believe they deserve. But why is it still 2 out of 3, whereas the men play in the Grand Slams 3 out of 5? We'll put it this way: the Grand Slams for men, some of these matches, like you said, go 5 hours.
Yeah.
Now, their rallies are not as long. The women's rallies are longer. So can you imagine a women's match 3 out of 5 with the rallies that exceed 20, 30 hits? A 5 hour match for a man, for a woman, it would probably go 7 hours,
Mm.
8 hours. That's why. The,
But,
the,
but
the matches would never end.
I'll tell you, I used to be into marathon running, and women can last longer than men as far as running. In fact, women are better at ultra marathons over 26 miles than men are because of their I forget what it is. It's the way they can turn fat into the energy. They're more efficient.
Well, I didn't call women fat.
No, 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 not fat.
I
Everybody
agree
has
with
fat.
you. I had heard that. You're right. Their endurance is better. You're right.
Yeah, so I think if they were trained right with their muscle, again, I ache when I watch the five set matches because of that repetitive motion. I can imagine what it does on the shoulders
Yeah, it's
and the hips and the torque of the body.
they're underestimated. Tennis players are underestimated athletes. They really are. And
Now,
today, the athletes are even today. Tennis players are better than they were. Like we mentioned, Billie Jean King and you know all those Chrissy Everett, Martina Navratilova. I mean, they were great, but the tennis players today are even better because of the
well,
conditioning.
the conditioning and the different techniques and different rackets. I remember when I was taking tennis lessons, it was a big thing was follow through.
Hmm.
Follow through. Now it's no follow through. It's sort of like the zip.
Yeah,
You have to put the spin.
they just do it. They hit it. They hit all out. They put everything into it. I mean, I still watch. I don't miss a match on television. That's the we have the access today to watch because of the cable. We're watching first round matches between two nobodies from Zimbabwe,
Yeah.
whereas in the old days we were lucky enough to get a tape delayed semifinal or a final from Wimbledon or US Open. You couldn't see a first round match. You couldn't see a quarterfinal match. You could only see a final. So that's how I grew up. I
I
mean,
know.
now we can watch a match anywhere in the world, in any continent in the world, at
And
all
any
times.
at
No
any
problems.
and any time live, my wife wakes up 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, depending, for the Australian Open. She's up and watching it live.
No, I do it too. I do it.
I didn't.
I'm maniacal about this. I mean, I love tennis. I love sports, and I love any sport, not just tennis. I mean, basketball, football, baseball. I follow
Did
it
did
all.
did you play any other sports competitively?
I did. You know, we're from New York originally, and I played baseball first competitively. And then when we came out here, I was in high school. My father came out as an actor, so we came out to California. And I never even played much tennis in New York because it wasn't accessible. But when we came out to California, when I went to high school, the season for the tennis season was the same as the baseball season. So I had to choose between baseball and tennis. And I chose tennis, but it wasn't necessarily the right choice. But I've had a good life. Maybe I would have been a good baseball player. I
Mhm.
don't know. But I love baseball. I was so passionate about it. I was there during the 1969. I'm old enough to remember this. And the New York Mets won the World Series. They called them the Amazing Mets
You
back then.
you got to believe.
But
I
you know what?
used
No,
to
that's right. You got to believe.
I used
And
to root for that. I used to root for that team.
well, and they were losers up until then. And in 1969, not only did the Mets, the Amazing Mets win, the New York Knickerbockers won,
Yeah.
and also the New York Jets won with
Tell
Joe
me
Namath.
about it.
Joe Namath,
Joe Willie. Joe Namath.
Broadway Joe, Broadway Joe. So '69 was a magical year in New York, and that's never happened again. But I just love all sports.
Yes. So I don't know if it's a New York thing, but so do I.
I love it. Yeah, I remember the headlines of the newspapers back, and they were so. If you're not doing well in New York though, as a team, they really let you have it. The New York fan really lets you have it. I remember, yeah, the front page of the sports page: Yanks win, Mets lose. It was like big. It was they were very adamant. Mets stink. They were exclamation points. I mean, the New York crowd is a rough crowd.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I was a Brooklyn Dodger fan. So I used to root for the Brooklyn Dodgers, and I was there when the Mets first came in, and I think they lost 104 games out of 154 games.
Wow. Yeah, I don't remember the Brook. I mean, I don't remember. I don't remember that. Isn't that funny? I just missed that era
Oh no,
and
I was
the Brooklyn
I
Dodgers.
was just a teenager when they moved from Brooklyn. That was probably one of the most disappointing. That was like in 1957, 58.
This is my what do you call it? Bad habit. I drink this all day long because I
Starbuck.
I call it $10. At Starbucks because every time I go to Starbucks, I spend $10. So this is what keeps me going. I'm
But
a
by the way, yeah, but I used to see your
caffeine.
dad there all the time. later on in life,
My father loved, we love Starbucks. We
he was
love
in
it.
Starbucks on Ventura
I'm
Boulevard.
not doing a commercial here. But I do love
Actually, we should.
Starbucks. No, I love Starbucks. But my father used to go all the time,
Yeah.
and anyway, life's been good, Malcolm. I'm nothing to complain about.
Who else have you taught? People of
Oh,
note.
Brad Pitt,
Brad Pitt.
George Clooney. They told me never to name drop.
Wow.
Just kidding. No, I don't. I don't teach Brad Pitt. I don't teach George Clooney. But I do teach. Let's see, who else do I teach? I teach taught gee, a lot of people. James Caan.
Fancy. Who does he
Remember
teach?
James Caan? Remember James Caan, the
I
actor,
love James Caan. He just passed away, didn't he?
Godfather? Yeah, he was great. He was a good friend of mine. Oh yeah, Alan Alda. Alan Alda's a wonderful person.
Great actor.
He's Alan Alda is a class act. He's Alan Thicke, but yeah, Alan Thicke. He
Alan
died.
Thicke, yeah. But Alan Alda probably has, to me, the best serious dramatic comedy in MASH. Because
No, I totally
even though it
agree.
was funny, it was so poignant. You know, it told the tale of war.
And the thing about Alan, just in life, he's interested in anything. You can talk to that man about any topic, and he'll give you an opinion, and his opinion is valid.
Actually, one of my favorite
Oh, you know
movies.
what? I meant to tell you, I mean to cut you off, but I'm forgetting some of the celebrities I taught. I'm still William Shatner, Bill Shatner.
Does he still play?
He's
I think
not
he's
playing
nine. I
quite
think
as
he's
much.
91.
He's flying to the moon or something. I think he spends his time flying as an astronaut now, but he doesn't play anymore. No, he
Yeah,
has.
I think he's
He likes
91 years
horses.
old or something.
He likes horses. He rides
Oh,
horses. So
well,
when he's
that's difficult. That's hard also. I think you're talking about some of the finest conditioned athletes. I think a jockey is.
how did you know that? You're right. Oh, I have another celebrity I taught that was first of all a jockey, without a doubt, is the greatest pound for pound athlete that I've ever met.
Now,
Jockeys can do anything.
you see them,
Thoroughbred,
they have the animal underneath them. They're controlling the animal basically with their hands and their arms on the neck, and they're standing up the whole race.
mm-hmm.
They don't sit in the saddle until the race is over.
No, they're amazing people. I had an opportunity. My father used to own a lot of racehorses,
Ah,
thoroughbreds, Santa Anita and Hollywood Park. And I had the opportunity to meet a lot of those jockeys. I love those guys. I meant to tell you another celebrity I taught who's terrific is the great actress Scarlett Johansson. You remember Scarlett Johansson?
yeah.
She did two tennis movies, and I was her tennis technical advisor for the
Sh-
movies.
sh- a connection with Scarlett is that I'm going to a play tonight. I was telling your wife we had an interview with starring June Squibb,
Yes,
who's 94 years old. So she has a lead in a picture called Thelma, which is previewing this week. Well, not previewing, but opening this week. She about a month ago, she was in New York starring in a movie directed by Scarlett Johansson.
really. Oh, I didn't know Scarlett was directing. That's
Yeah, I
amazing.
think this is Scarlett's second or third movie.
Oh, that's great. Great. Wow.
So I was, if your wife is ready to get back into the acting, because I know she did a role the other week, you have great connections because everything is connections.
I think so in life. It isn't just acting. I mean, you talk about nepotism. I mean, in any business, everything's
Oh yeah,
connected. I mean, if I want a good plumber, I'm not just going to go. I'm going to ask for a referral for a plumber. If I want a good gardener, I'm going to ask around. Hey, who's
right.
your gardener? Who's your? I'm going to get I'm going to get a referral from a person that I know. So it is all about connect. Life is about connections.
Yeah, it's once you get the connection, then you have to perform.
Well, I think if you wouldn't be doing it in the first place if you didn't think you were good.
There are people who have inflated egos. I mean, you've seen them. You've seen people play tennis like that, where they think they're great and they
True.
fizzle out.
I can relate to that to poker, playing cards, because if you go around and you say you're like a great poker player, chances are you're going to lose. You're going
Yeah.
to lose your shirt. The good poker players keep everything under the hat. You
Yeah.
don't let people know how good you are. You kind of conceal it.
Yeah,
So,
I never, even as a teenager, I never could play poker because I couldn't keep a
don't
poker
show it.
face. I
Yeah.
couldn't keep a poker face. When I had good cards, my face would light up. When I had bad cards, I would be depressed. Everybody knew it.
You want to play cards next Tuesday night?
What's the buy-in?
Just kidding.
No,
Just
I
kidding.
know.
All right. Trying to think who else I taught. A lot of different people. Farrah
Well,
Fawcett. Who's that? Farrah Fawcett. Remember Farrah
Barry,
Fawcett, Charlie's Angels? The red bathing suit, Farrah Fawcett.
yeah.
She was like,
We were talking about red bathing suits, and we were talking about Baywatch in the earlier interview I
that's
had with
right.
Nancy.
The Baywatch, wore the red bathing suit as well, the lifeguards. Who's that?
You haven't taught me.
Oh, yeah. I still haven't taught I still owe my wife a tennis lesson, actually. She is. Um, so I'm trying to think who else. Zac Efron. Remember the movie star Zac Efron.
Yeah.
He's very current. He's a good guy.
Well, he was it him the one that buffed up? Was he the one that's I don't remember. Was that the movie where he plays the
I think he's done a lot of movies, Zac Efron. I haven't quite. I'm not following him as much as I'm following Scarlett Johansson.
oh.
But
No, but
I'm
I
not
think he
sure
did.
exactly what movies he's been doing. But he's a great person and he's a very good actor. Zach,
I think he did the one about the wrestling.
yeah, I don't watch guys
And if that's him,
yeah, I don't know. I don't
he,
know.
he buffed up like Arnold. I mean, he was really tight.
Yeah, I guess. I guess I don't watch it.
Oh,
Sorry, but he's a great person and I know he's a good actor. Yes.
yeah, and is he a good tennis player?
Yes.
Yes.
Very good athlete. Very good athlete. Guy would do like 30 pull-ups after he played tennis.
Well,
He'd be
t-
running, he'd go for jogs, and the guy was incredible shape.
I
Zach.
mean, the people that have them, I'm sure you teach also a lot of people and industrial people who have the money for the tennis. Do they complain about fees or anything, or basically they accept what you
No,
charge?
no, they just go away. I don't see them the next time, but no, I mean it's just the going rate. It's not like I'm charging an exorbitant amount of money to play. I mean, I think it's well worth it to play
Oh
tennis.
yeah,
I'm going to make them better. So whatever money they put into it, they invest.
yeah. I had a friend that was like the one of the marketing directors over the tennis channel. So we
Yes.
used to go to a lot of tennis matches over at UCLA and Palm Springs.
Yes. Yeah, they're the pros. The pros come
Yeah.
in one. It used to be at UCLA, the LA tournament. They did away with
Yeah.
that tournament, unfortunately.
What I like better sometimes than even the matches when I'd go downstairs and watch them practice.
Hmm.
And until you get to court level, you don't realize how fast they hit that ball.
And yeah, you're right. They're amazing. I
You,
mean,
you, you-
these guys we're watching on television, they're all the best in the world. It's
yeah,
not just in their city or their
yeah,
little town. Every country in the world, every
yeah,
city in the world. These are the best tennis players.
yeah. And you can't appreciate the speed and when the ball
It's
hops after they hit
dedication,
it.
dedication. I mean, what these guys are doing. I mean, it's like this in any sport, though. I mean, if you
Oh
go down
yeah,
basketball players, there's so many phenomenal basketball players and baseball players. How many of them really make it? I mean, if you went down, here we live in Los Angeles. I go down to Venice Beach. It's like a mecca of basketball, right? You go on that first court at Venice Beach, California, and you watch these guys play. These guys are jumping. They're jumping through the sky. They're
yeah,
slam dunking. They're doing 360s, and you go, "How? This is unbelievable. Why isn't this guy on the Lakers or the Knicks or the Bucks?" And then the next thing you know, they come off the court, win or lose. Now they're sitting on a bench
yeah.
smoking pot and they're drinking
Well,
beer. And I'm going, that's why. The
right.
talent is through the roof, but they're not dedicated.
Yeah,
They're, and
that was a big thing years ago in New York.
yeah,
There used to be something called the Rutgers tournament up in Harlem, and it was mainly uh, black players, whether the amateurs were black, and they were fabulous, but there was no discipline.
that's right. Malcolm, that goes for every sport. Now,
Yeah,
everything in life, it isn't just sport.
that's
It's
true.
any profession. I mean, it could be anything. You got to be disciplined for life. And I mean, I'm not saying it's an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
We have to work on it every day. We have to work.
Well, now, do you have you played pickleball?
Um, I haven't really, I mean, I like it because other people like it. I'm happy that other people are happy playing, but I haven't really played. I
Oh,
haven't. And the
because
sport.
I know the friend of yours, Michael. I think he used to be your double partner. I
Yes,
think teaches pickleball over here by Harris High.
yes. He was my former doubles partner in tennis,
Yeah,
Mike Schwalik, and now he's a pickleball instructor and teacher, and he's doing really well. And he's a great athlete, and he loves the game. And I appreciate, and I credit the sport for growing and blossoming.
yeah. But that's one of the fastest growing sports. I don't know if you've seen
I can't believe it.
they
You
have
know what?
specials on, Sunday morning with Jane Pauley on 60 Minutes. They're converting a lot of tennis people are bitching because they're converting a lot of the tennis courts to pickleball courts.
I had the opportunity to talk to Billie Jean King at a Dodger game. Billie Jean King, the tennis legend, is part owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers. And I said to Billie Jean King, and who I've known for a long time,
Yeah.
I said, Billie Jean, what is it? I said, what is it about this pickleball? She doesn't like it, by the way.
Mm.
Billie Jean King doesn't like pickleball. She's pro tennis, and that's it. I said, what is it? Maria Sharapova is playing pickleball. John McEnroe is playing pickleball.
Really?
Nikki Roddick, great champ, is playing pickleball. Billie Jean, why are all the Steffi Graf, one of the greats, she married Andre Agassi is playing pickleball. What is it? And he played a big match on NBC.
Yeah.
And she looked at me, she goes, Nels, money.
Mm.
I said, money? I said, they're very wealthy, they're rich people. Why would they want to play? She goes,
No.
coming
Well,
from Billie Jean King.
they might
So
enjoy those.
these are great. I mean, I said, oh, okay, I get it. I never was that person. I
Yeah.
never was that person to play for money. That's probably why I'm poor today. But but I see the psyche. I see why they're doing it.
Yeah,
It's
it's also
LeBron
it,
James is an investor. Tom Brady is an investor in pickleball. It's crazy.
are
But
you're not gonna convert your course to pickleball courts in your
no,
house?
I'm not about this. I'm not about that. I'm really about the drive and the passion. I couldn't care less about that. As long as we stay healthy and drink our Starbucks, I'm a happy man.
Anyway, believe it or not, our, our half hour is up.
I'm sorry for your sake. No, whatever that means.
Well,
We
yeah,
have to go.
we'll have you on again. Don't worry about it. Maybe we'll have you do a tandem with you and Nancy.
Would love that. Next time I come back, I'll bring you at $10 as well.
Okay, sounds good.
We'll see you.
Anyway, thank you very much. And tell all your friends to go over to malcolmpresents.com, go over to Up Close and Personal, and they'll see you one show and Nancy on another show.
No, I'd love to see you again. I'll tell everybody.
Okay, and I'll see you as you run.
No, Malcolm, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
You're terrific.
And thank you, Nels. Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye, Nancy.
Bye.